The trading station orbiting Kelvar Prime had seen countless species pass through its gleaming corridors, but none drew as much attention as the human woman walking through the marketplace with a Vralkesh cub perched casually on her shoulder. Mia adjusted her jacket, careful not to disturb the small creature that had wrapped its six-clawed paws around her neck. The cub, no larger than a house cat, purred softly against her ear, a sound that would have terrified most sentient beings who knew what Vralkesh grew into. Adult Vralkesh were apex predators, standing 8 feet tall with razor-sharp teeth and claws that could tear through reinforced steel. They were banned on most civilized worlds, their very presence considered a weapon of mass destruction. But this one was still young, its silver-striped fur soft and eyes bright with curiosity as it watched the alien crowds pass by. Leo walked beside her, his hand resting on a holstered plasma pistol more out of habit than necessity. He'd been Mia's partner for 3 years now, ever since they'd started their wildlife rescue operation in the outer sectors. Where governments saw monsters, Mia saw misunderstood creatures. Where others saw danger, she saw family. "You know this is going to cause problems," Leo muttered, his eyes scanning the crowd. Already, several Thranixians had backed away, their antennae flat against their heads in fear. A group of Beltorian merchants had stopped haggling entirely, their 6 eyes fixed on the cub. "Everything we do causes problems," Mia replied with a slight smile. "That's never stopped us before." The cub chirped, a surprisingly gentle sound, and nuzzled against Mia's cheek. She reached up to scratch behind its ears, right where it liked it most. She'd found the creature 3 weeks ago on a desolate moon, orphaned after hunters had killed its mother for her pelt. The cub had been starving, hostile, and violent, attacking anything that moved. But Mia had patience. She always did. She'd sat with the cub for hours, speaking softly, offering food from a safe distance. When it finally approached, trembling and desperate, she'd wrapped it in her jacket and carried it back to their ship. Leo had thought she was insane. The cub could have ripped her throat out with a single swipe. Instead, it had fallen asleep in her arms. Now, as they approached the station's security checkpoint, Mia felt the cub tense. Its claws dug slightly into her shoulder. Not enough to break skin, but enough to communicate unease. She placed a reassuring hand on its back. "Easy, little one," she whispered. "We're okay." The security checkpoint was manned by a massive Krolar, his thick gray skin covered in the ceremonial scars of his people's warrior caste. His forearms crossed over his chest as they approached, and his deep-set eyes narrowed with suspicion. "Stop," he commanded, his voice like grinding stone. "Identification." Leo handed over their credentials while Mia stood calmly, the cub's tail swishing back and forth across her back. She could feel its heartbeat quickening. The Krolar scanner beeped as it verified their information. Then his eyes locked onto the creature on Mia's shoulder. His stance shifted immediately, all 4 hands moving toward the weapons at his belt. "What is that?" he demanded. "A Vralkesh cub," Mia answered simply. Vralkesh are classified as Class 7 predators. They are prohibited on this station. The Krolar's voice had taken on a threatening edge. Other security officers were moving closer now, forming a loose perimeter. "They are dangerous." Mia felt the cub's muscles coil beneath her hand. It was reading the tension in the air, preparing to defend itself, to defend her. She stroked its fur slowly, deliberately, keeping her own breathing calm and steady. "She's an orphan," Mia said, her voice quiet but firm. "I'm rehabilitating her before releasing her back into a protected habitat." "Irrelevant. All Vralkesh pose a threat. She's a baby. She is a predator." Mia's eyes met the Krolar's, and something in her gaze made even the battle-hardened warrior pause. There was no fear there, no hesitation, only a quiet, unshakable certainty. "You asked if she's dangerous," Mia said softly. The cub shifted on her shoulder, its bright eyes now fixed on the security chief. "The answer is yes. She's a predator. She's built to hunt, to kill, to survive. In the wild, she'll grow into one of the most formidable creatures in this sector." The Krolar's hands tightened on his weapons. "But right now," Mia continued, "she's only dangerous if you are." Silence fell across the checkpoint. Even the background chatter of the marketplace seemed to fade. The Krolar stared at the human woman, trying to understand. "What does that mean?" Leo stepped forward, his hand still near his weapon, but his posture relaxed. "It means she protects what protects her. Humans have been doing this for thousands of years. We took wolves, pack predators that could tear us apart, and turned them into companions. We've befriended predators that every logical species would exterminate. That's insanity, one of the other guards muttered. Maybe, Mia agreed. But it's also trust. She knows I won't hurt her. She knows I saved her life, fed her when she was starving, kept her warm when she was cold, and because of that, she'd die protecting me. She reached up and gently scratched under the cub's chin. It leaned into the touch, purring again. But she has no reason to hurt you, unless you give her one. The Krolar studied them for a long moment. Around the galaxy, humans had a reputation. Crazy, unpredictable, and impossibly stubborn. They bonded with things that should kill them. They showed mercy to creatures that showed them none. They saw potential where others saw only threats. It was terrifying, and perhaps, the Krolar thought, that was exactly what made them so effective. You have 1 hour on this station, he finally said, lowering his weapons. Keep that creature under control. If it harms anyone, she won't, Mia said with absolute confidence. As they passed through the checkpoint, the cub relaxed on Mia's shoulder, its tail curling contentedly around her arm. Leo let out a breath he didn't know he'd been holding. One day your trust in these creatures is going to get you killed, he said. Mia smiled, scratching the cub's head as it chirped happily. Maybe, but until that day I'll keep saving them. Behind them, the Krolar watched the human walk away with a predator perched on her shoulder like a beloved pet. He'd served in 3 wars, faced down pirates and mercenaries, and earned every scar on his body through combat. But he'd never seen anything quite as dangerous as a human who'd decided something was worth protecting. The cub looked back at him once, its intelligent eyes gleaming, then turned back to nuzzle against Mia's neck. The Krolar shook his head and returned to his post. Humans. They were absolutely insane, and that perhaps was why they survived.